a lightweight, just in time, just in time compiled, just in time compiled programming language. JavaScript is a lightweight, just-in-time compiled programming language. That is what actually JavaScript is. Generally, when we ask anyone what is JavaScript, many people immediately tell a point that JavaScript is a client-side script. No, JavaScript is not client-side script. JavaScript is an language. JavaScript is a lightweight. It is an interpreted and just-in-time compiled language. Interpreted. It is an interpreted and just-in-time compiled language. Interpreted, just-in-time compiled language. Just-in-time compiled language. What is that means? I will tell you. I will tell you. Actually, many people, when they talk about JavaScript, they say JavaScript is a client-side script. No, it's not a client-side script only. JavaScript is a language. Do you know? JavaScript supports several programming approaches. JavaScript supports several programming approaches. Actually, JavaScript supports several programming approaches. Actually, it is a prototype-based, single-threaded dynamic language. So that means several programming languages, programming approaches. It is a prototype-based. It is a prototype-based, single-threaded dynamic language. Single-threaded dynamic language that supports functional programming, structural programming, object-oriented programming, etc. I will explain the points, we will discuss about them, right? Actually, I am just making a clarity on the definition first, because many people have a wrong idea about JavaScript, a wrong definition about JavaScript in general actually. So we have to know that all those are not correct. Technically, what is correct, you are going to learn now. Actually, JavaScript is a lightweight, interpreted. What is meant by interpreted? Interpreted is nothing but line by line translation. Interpreted means line by line translation. That means generally languages can be translated line by line or entire program at a time. If it is line by line translated, then it is called interpreted. And it is also just in time compiled. It is supporting interpreted and it is also supporting compiled. What is the meaning of just in time compiled? What is just-in-time compiled? Just-in-time compiled is nothing but actually just-in-time compiled means, for example, you written a JavaScript program. You written a JavaScript program. First, an interpreter will come. First, an interpreter will come. This interpreter will translate the program line by line. That means interpreter is going to translate the program line by line. So line by line, it is translating the program. After translating the program line by line, that means now it is ready. Now, generally, we use various operating systems. We use various browsers and operating systems. We have Windows, we have Linux, so we have Mac, and we have like Android phones also, right? So Android, we have like iOS. So many are there. Important is JavaScript uses a technique called JIT, just-in-time compiled. It is just-in-time compiled. It uses just-in-time compiled. It's a compiler. That means it is a compiler. Just-in-time compiler, JIT, just-in-time compiler. This compiler will translate the JavaScript which is understandable to every operating system services. That means cross-platform. That's the reason every browser, every operating system can understand JavaScript. So this is the actual definition of JavaScript. So JavaScript is an very lightweight. It is an interpreted because it is used through interpreter, and it is just-in-time compiled programming language. So actually, what is the history of JavaScript? I will tell you. So this is actual definition of JavaScript. Originally, JavaScript was designed by Brendan Eich. He designed JavaScript. Originally, JavaScript designed by him, and he have a group called MDN, Mozilla Developers Network, MDN. So Brendan Eich is the founder of Mozilla Firefox browser. He developed it. He's the founder of, he's the inventor of the language JavaScript actually. JavaScript designed by Brendan Eich. And he's the founder of Mozilla company, Mozilla Firefox, Mozilla browser. He's the CEO, he was CEO for Mozilla Firefox for several years. Now he retired from that, and now he maintains a group called MDN, Mozilla Developers Network. So this is the group maintained by the person who developed JavaScript. So if you go to this website, means MDN, so you will get correct information about JavaScript. Why? Because that is built by him. That means the person who built that language, he knows better than anybody else in the world about it. We cannot depend on definitions given by some XY websites, because many people will come and ask, sir, in that website I have seen the definition like this, in this website the definition like this. We don't care who those websites are. We just care about only the people who built it and only the people who maintain the standards for it. right? So people who built Brenda Naik built it, and you can go to their official website. You can go to the official website of MDN. I will show you. So let's go to the official website of MDN here. So JavaScript MDN. When you go to the official website of this, you can see JavaScript on MDN. You can see this is the definition given by them. This is the definition given by them. This is the definition given by them. And observe the definition. Observe the definition. So the definition, what they tell about JavaScript, it is a lightweight, it is an interpreted or just-in-time compiled programming language. This is important. So JavaScript is a prototype based, it is a single-threaded dynamic language that supports object-oriented programming, imperative programming, functional programming, so many styles. What are those styles? I will tell you. We will discuss about that. So technically, JavaScript is not a client-side script only. JavaScript is a big language now, right? It is not just a client-side script. What many people don't know is earlier when JavaScript was designed, it was used as only client-side script. Actually now JavaScript is used client side with HTML. JavaScript is used server side in Node.js. JavaScript is used in database. JavaScript is used in database. So with MongoDB. That means JavaScript is not just a client-side scripting language. And do you know JavaScript is used in animations with Flash. We can use JavaScript for Flash animations also. That means JavaScript is a very big language, and this language can be used client side, it can be used server side, it can be used even in database also. Do you know MongoDB is a database which uses JavaScript, not SQL queries. Select from, insert into, such queries are not present in MongoDB. Here it uses general JavaScript functions. So MongoDB is a database which uses JavaScript. And Node.js is a server-side technology which uses JavaScript as a language. So in animations, we use JavaScript for Flash. That means if anyone says JavaScript is a client-side script, that means you are reducing its level. That means you are saying that it is only for client-side script. No, it is for so many things. So JavaScript is a very big language and it supports so many features. Remember one more point. Many people say JavaScript is an object-oriented programming language. JavaScript is a not object-oriented programming language. JavaScript supports object-oriented programming. That means it supports object-oriented programming means it has some abilities of object-oriented programming, but it is not an object-oriented programming. JavaScript is not an object-oriented programming, right? It is not an object-oriented programming. JavaScript is just supporting object-oriented. That's what even that website means. Why I came to this website, because many people will come with questions and they try to argue about JavaScript. So we don't even want to argue with their arguments. Why? Because that's all nonsense. We don't even care about what they talk about, because we don't want definitions from websites. We want definitions from the people who built it. That is important. So that means according to the people who built JavaScript, see, they say that it's supporting object oriented. It is supporting object oriented. It is supporting imperative. It's supporting declarative. So many programmings are supported. If it is an object oriented, then immediately anybody might have given like they might have given like JavaScript is OOP language, right? No, JavaScript is not OOP language. It supports object oriented programming. That is the important thing you need to understand. Hope you are clear with this point. Why I came to this website to show you this definition, because some people try to argue with our definitions without having a basic knowledge about it. For such people, we will come to this website and show them, and we will say that now talk about. And if he says that no, this website is also wrong, that means he is the biggest fool in the world. Why? Because what nonsense you are talking. You are saying that you know better than people who build JavaScript, right? So that means that's all nonsense definitions and questions they are raised actually. We don't care and we don't worry about such definitions and such points. So technically what it is exactly that we have to know. So one point is clear, that by learning JavaScript, you are not just going to understand how to handle it client side. Later it will be helpful for you in Node.js if you are using server side, in MongoDB if you are using in database, in Flash when you are learning about animations. So that is JavaScript uses. So how JavaScript is used, right? That is the basic point about JavaScript, technical point about JavaScript. Actually, how this concept of JavaScript came, I will tell you. That means evolution of JavaScript. A basic point I will tell you, evolution of JavaScript. A lengthy history is there, but I will keep it very simple. Actually, internet started with a browser. Internet started with a browser called Mosaic. Internet started with a browser called Mosaic. It is the name of the first browser. It is the first browser, and a scripting language called ECMA script. So ECMA is actually European computer manufacturers association. So this is actually ECMA script. So the first script. ECMA script is considered as the mother of all scripts in the world. All the scripts are derived from this ECMA script only. Actually, in the early days when internet started, the first browser we used was Mosaic. And we used a script inside that browser called ECMA script. Mosaic is the first browser in the world. First internet started with this browser only, Mosaic browser. Then what happened is, in 1990, Tim Berners-Lee introduced a concept called web. The concept of web, already I told you in the introduction of HTML. No need to explain again. What is difference between internet and web? We discussed about that. So Tim Berners-Lee introduced web, and Tim Berners-Lee introduced a language called HTML. So Tim Berners-Lee introduced web and HTML. He introduced a language called HTML. Before that, the markup language, before that, the markup language was GML and SGML. Generic markup language, standard generic markup language. After that, HTML. So much history is there. No need to worry about all that. Basic point. Now, when Tim Berners-Lee introduced the concept of web, and he introduced a language HTML. Now, HTML and its functionalities, Mosaic was unable to handle it properly. Because it was not designed for HTML actually. Then what happened is in 1994-95, a company called Netscape Communications. These people developed a browser called Netscape Communicator. So this is the first browser which was very popular in web. On internet, first was Mosaic. After that, the popular browser was Netscape Communicator. When we started using Netscape Communicator actually. Before Internet Explorer and Opera, Firefox, all these browsers, these are the first browsers. We haven't seen Mosaic, but we have seen a Netscape Communicator browser in the early days when we started using internet actually. So Netscape Communicator is the browser developed by Netscape Communications. So what Netscape uses? Netscape uses a markup language. It uses a markup language HTML. And Netscape also uses the same script. It also uses the same script ECMA. So Netscape also using the same script used by Mosaic. That means they also started using ECMA script only. But what happened is HTML was rapidly improving. That means so many improvements were happening in HTML. And ECMA script was unable to handle all the features of HTML. That means HTML is coming with animations, forms, so many new things, which ECMA script was unable to handle because it was not designed for HTML actually. Then what happened is, actually you can see the browser, Netscape browser. You can Google, you will get it. You can see Netscape browser. Netscape. This is the first browser used for internet actually. So this is the Netscape Communicator. This is Netscape Communicator. This is the browser actually. This is how Netscape browser looks like. That is the Netscape browser. So now you don't have this Netscape browser. I will tell you. Before this Netscape browser, we have a browser called Mosaic. So Mosaic is a browser. Actually, this is the Mosaic browser. This is Mosaic browser. After the Mosaic browser, the Netscape browser came. This is the first browser we started using on internet. This is Mosaic. So this is the first browser we used actually. After that, then comes the Netscape Communicator. Right? So the point is, in HTML was rapidly improving. And ECMA script was unable to handle. That's the reason in early 1996, Netscape company appointed appointed a scripting expert to design a client side script for them, for their browser. What is their browser? For their browser, Netscape Communicator. So for Netscape Communicator, they want a new script which can handle the HTML perfectly. They appointed a scripting expert to design a client-side script, and his name is Brendan Eich. So Netscape appointed Brendan Eich, a scripting expert, so to design a client-side script for them. And what he has designed is, Brendan Eich, he developed a script, and he developed a script and named it as Mocha. He developed a script and named it as Mocha, which was later named as LiveScript. So Brendan Eich developed a script for Netscape company, and first it was named as Mocha. After that, it was named as LiveScript. Brendan Eich developed it. Brendan Eich, he is Brendan Eich. He is the father of JavaScript. He developed JavaScript. Not only JavaScript, he is known for Mozilla Firefox. He developed a browser called Firefox. He invented, and one specialty is, do you know, entire client-side script he developed just in 10 days. He took only 10 days to develop JavaScript. Right? The entire language was designed in just 10 days. He took only 10 days to design that language. That's great. But it was first named as Mocha. After that, it was named as LiveScript. Actually, Brendan Eich was appointed to develop that script. So script doesn't belongs to Brendan Eich. Script belongs to Netscape company. So the new script belongs to Netscape company. But Netscape company was unable to maintain that language. Netscape company was unable to maintain that language. It was unable to maintain that language. Then what they have done is during 1996 and 97, after developing this script, what they have done is they given the responsibility of maintaining this script to, so that means Netscape given responsibility of developing, maintaining the script, maintaining LiveScript, given the responsibility of maintaining LiveScript to a company called Sun Microsystems. And Sun Microsystems, which was very popular with their language called Java. Already Sun Microsystems were very popular in the world at that moment with their language called Java. And Netscape company given responsibility of LiveScript to this Sun Microsystems. Then Sun Microsystems, this company named LiveScript, renamed LiveScript. They renamed LiveScript as JavaScript. Actually, there is no relationship between Java and JavaScript. Java different, JavaScript different. So many people have a confusion why it is called JavaScript. So why it is called JavaScript? So the intention of calling it as JavaScript that just came from Sun Microsystems. Why? Because Sun Microsystems started maintaining that script. That's the reason worldwide to tell the developers that we are maintaining it. They given the name as JavaScript. Only that is maintained by them. So it doesn't have any relationship with Java. It doesn't have any relationship with Java. And very important is JavaScript. JavaScript is a language that follows the standards of ECMA. That follows the standards of ECMA. JavaScript language follows the standards of ECMA only. That means every language follows the standards of several. You know, ASCII ANSI standards are there. You know, CMM standards are there. You know, IEEE standards are there. ISO standards are there. JavaScript is a language that follows the standards of ECMA. That is the reason JavaScript versions are named as ECMA script. JavaScript versions are named as ECMA script. ECMA named as ECMA. Actually, in short, ECMA script actually. ECMA script versions. That's the reason you see JavaScript latest versions. So they will be like ES5, like ES6. The latest version of JavaScript is ES8. So that is actually 2018. That is the latest version of JavaScript. That means JavaScript versions are ES5, ES6, ES8. These are the version numbers. JavaScript is not known as JavaScript 1, JavaScript 2, JavaScript 3 like that. Like Bootstrap 4.5, Bootstrap 3 versions, CSS2, CSS3 like JavaScript is ES. Without knowing this, many people come and ask, sir, after finishing JavaScript, will you teach ES5, ES6 also? That means you are cracking a big joke now. That means you don't know about JavaScript and you are talking about, will you teach this, will you teach that? That means many people will have the same confusion. Even generally when people learn, they ask, sir, will you teach advanced JavaScript? That means the point is, have you invented any new advanced JavaScript? JavaScript means JavaScript. Whatever is there in JavaScript, if you learn it, that is called JavaScript. Because many people don't learn about what is new happening in JavaScript. They learn only traditional JavaScript. Then they will ask such question like, I haven't learned any advanced JavaScript. Don't invent new languages by yourself, right? So JavaScript means JavaScript. Whatever is there in JavaScript, we are going to learn. So from basic to advanced, we are going to learn everything in JavaScript. So you don't need to worry about, so will you teach this topic? Will you teach that topic? In UI technologies, we are learning complete JavaScript. And this will help you for in future Angular, in future Node.js, in future MongoDB, in future any other, wherever you need JavaScript, right? We are going to learn all basic to advanced features, everything here. We are going to learn about them. So JavaScript versions are this. So that is the basic point about JavaScript. Now, what are the advantages of JavaScript? What are the drawbacks of JavaScript? This is a key point here. Advantages and drawbacks of JavaScript. JavaScript has several issues. Now, one more question is here. Why people call it as a script? Java, it's a language. Then why people call it as a script? What is the reason about calling it as a script? Why it is called script? And what is the problem in JavaScript? What are the issues in JavaScript? What are the advantages of JavaScript? So that we are going to learn in tomorrow's session. Okay. So tomorrow we will start discussing about JavaScript practically also. We will start working with that. This is a basic overview about it. What are the drawbacks, advantages, we will discuss in tomorrow's session. Okay. But first, by tomorrow, you try to design that exercise that I have given to you. If you are good, if you are doing that, simultaneously, we will be learning about JavaScript also. That means I will solve your problems and we will continue JavaScript also, Simon. Okay. Tomorrow we'll continue then. Fine.